Sometimes it feels like we're living two lives. Our online life, and then our life that we live offline as well. I became fascinated in this when a few years ago I wrote an article for a British newspaper where I wrote about a reality TV show called Love Island. And in this article, I wrote about how this reality TV show was finally shattering this illusion of perfection that we all try and maintain online. For the first time, we took seemingly perfect people and we stuck them in a reality TV show villa where we watched their every move. And we saw that people that we thought of as having the most incredible lifestyles online, living glamorous lives, having the best time, we saw them actually as real people, as real humans, with the same vulnerabilities, the same insecurities, the same doubts, the same self-loathing. And it got me thinking about, what is it that I'm doing online that is different to who I am too, offline? And this is all around the same time I was really unsure about what I wanted to do and who I wanted to be. Some call it a quarter-life crisis, but for me, I just sat there thinking, who is Mala? Who is Mala? I remember just thinking, but look at yourself online. You are living a dream. You have the most incredible friends. You're doing so well. You're a doctor. You have an amazing family. And yet you're so deeply unhappy. What is going on? And I couldn't work it out. I just couldn't work it out at all. Online, I looked like I was living this incredible life, but I just didn't feel that offline. I just didn't feel it. And I knew I was living a dream, but it wasn't my dream. And so I took a step back and I thought, how can I work out who I am? And so I went back to the one thing that I know how to do, and that is make a list and make it into a spreadsheet. I knew how to do that really well. And so I thought, let's break up my life into a few key areas and let's do an evaluation of how I'm doing. So the first thing that I broke it down to, the first section of my life, was my family. And I thought, okay, out of 10, I'm going to rate each of these 5 sections and I'm going to break it down to, and I'm going to say, what is happening in it? What can I do better in it? And what am I rating it out of 10? So family, well, I had an amazing family and I loved being around them. But at that time, my family was suffering some ill health and my mum had just had a heart attack and my dad was having open heart surgery. And I knew that I needed to be home more. And I knew that I needed to be with them, but I couldn't because I was working as a doctor on the other side of London, and it was pretty much impossible for me to be there in the way I wanted to. And all I wanted to do was just be there. And so I rated my family a 3 out of 10 for that category. And that was because I knew, here are my next steps, what am I going to do next? Well, I knew that there were some really key things I could do to just be present and just be there for them more. So that was my family. My next compartment was friends. And friends, I love my friends, they're amazing. And I was thinking, are they toxic? Are they great to be around? Have I surrounded myself with people that push me to be my best? And then I realised I'm not rating my friends here. I'm rating who I am to my friends. I need to not be giving them the score, I need to be giving myself the score in this component. And actually, I'd really lost touch with my friends. Yes, I was turning up to the big things, the birthdays, the events, but I wasn't just showing up for their life, I wasn't calling them, I didn't know who they were at that point. And I was getting lazy. I wasn't calling them, I wasn't checking in. And I didn't know about some of the big things that were going on in my friends' lives just because I wasn't checking in. And so again, I rate this one a 3.54 out of 10. And I thought I need to start checking in on my friends more and start making time to go and see them more. And that's what I did. So friends and family is now done. My third one I looked at was relationships. And with my relationships, I mean, I was so happy. I'd been with my partner for 6 years now, fiance, and I was so happy. But I realised I wasn't spending any quality time with him. We both were working back-to-back 12-hour shifts in the NHS. And what it meant was that, I don't know if you've ever experienced it, but he would come home from a night shift and I would leave for a day shift and we maybe see each other for a quick 15 minutes. And that wasn't good enough. We weren't spending that quality time together. And even though we were living together, we weren't enjoying that presence together. So I rated it a 5 out of 6 or a 5 or 6 out of 10, and I knew I needed to improve on it, so I set myself some to-do lists. The fourth component of my life I broke this up into was my hobbies. And I very confidently gave myself a 9 out of 10 for this. I knew that I was doing well with my hobbies. I was excelling in my passion projects. I was setting up a podcast. I was enjoying everything that I was doing in my, in my spare time. I was doing research. I was getting involved in loads of different projects and startups. Then I realised that none of them were hobbies. They were all work. And I couldn't name one thing on that list, not one thing that was for me. It was all for work. And I had kidded myself that I had made time for myself and given myself hobbies. I hadn't. I had no hobbies. I just had work. And so I took that 9, crossed it out, and gave myself a 1. And that was it, a 1, because I just wasn't making time for myself. And then I got to the final component. And that was work. And at this point, I was terrified of doing work. I didn't know why I didn't enjoy being a doctor. We're all told to go and help people have a fulfilling career. I was doing something I should have been so proud of. And it is fundamentally a fantastic job. So why wasn't I happy? Why wasn't I enjoying what I was doing? I had no idea. Until I looked at my other 4 pillars, the other 4 components. And I realised that this work component, this 1/5 of what made up who I was supposed to be, had been leaking into all other 4 sections. In fact, it was encompassing who I am entirely. I wasn't able to be present for my family, wasn't able to be home because I was working in a different part of the country. Wasn't able to attend family functions. I wasn't able to see my friends because we're all working on different shifts and it's really difficult to get time off, and so I wasn't making the efforts and I was using it as an excuse. Again, relationships, the shift patterns, it was all encompassing and I was making that excuse there. And my hobbies were just work. And so very quickly I realised that I was my job. I was me, I was a doctor. And at med school they teach you something, they say, you need to go and introduce yourself and you say, hi, I'm Mala, I'm the med student, or hi, I'm Mala and I'm the junior doctor that's going to be here for you today. And that was what I'd become. Hi, I'm Mala and I'm the doctor. I'd lost who I was and I'd become my work. And I didn't want that. So I handed in my notice. And it was one of the craziest things that I thought I'd ever do. I mean, I'd spent ages at med school, racked up £100,000 of debt, and I handed in my notice. And I quit. And people were so confused. Why would you quit medicine? Why would you quit healthcare? You're doing something incredible. And I just did. And I said, I don't know what I'm going to do next, but I know I need to go and work on these other 4 pillars. So that's what I did. I went. I spent more time with family. I went home. I just looked after them. I spent more time with my friends, booked holidays with my partner. And I took up hobbies for myself. Because why not? Even just doing things for myself, like watching television or having a bath or reading a book or just doing a jigsaw, it was all for me. And it was my time, and I got that back, I reclaimed it back. And so when I started looking back at that work one when I was ready, I started realizing it wasn't a job that I was looking for. I needed to find my mission. I needed to find my purpose. And I remember this Steve Jobs quote, which he said, you can only connect the dots with hindsight. And that was so true for me, because I had to look backwards at what I really enjoyed doing. What was it I enjoyed doing? I couldn't just find a job title. I needed to find what I enjoyed doing. And when I married it all up, the healthcare, the global health work I'd done, lots of different pieces of the puzzle, I realized that I wanted to help solve healthcare inequalities using technology. And you can see the smile on my face, because that is my mission. I want to solve healthcare inequalities using technology, and that's what I did. I didn't go out and find any job. I went and found a company that also had the same personal mission as me, and I have never been happier. But it's not good enough to just know your personal mission and understand your 5 pillars or 5 components, or however you want to break that down in your own life. You've got to feel comfortable with it as well. And what do I mean by that? I mean that when you have realized your own personal mission, you're really confident with who you are across your pillars, you know who you are, you're happy. At that point, you have to be really confident and comfortable with that and let it sit. Because once you know who you are at that point, you can start to internally validate yourself. You can start to say, I am proud of myself because I am achieving my personal mission, and I am looking after myself across a broad range of areas of my life, not just work. And at that point, you no longer seek external validation, awards, degrees, etc., external praise, because you know you're driven by who you are internally. And you're happy to just show up and be you. And this was game-changing for me. Because once you've got it across the board, you know who you are across your pillars, you've broken it down, you've evaluated yourself across a broad range of areas, not just your work. And then you sit with that personal mission and you'll feel comfortable with it, you feel proud of yourself. At that point, then I knew I was being my authentic self. Thank you.